straight away jump into the session. So I welcome Aditi and Sameer with us today. Welcome, both of you. So glad to have you here with us. Aditi is the founder of Yankees Momo and the Blue Pine Foods, which is the parent company, but she's also popularly known as Momo Mami. So, Aditi, how do we refer to you here? You can tell, there are multiple names and the many hats that you wear. And we have Sameer Gupta here as well, who's the co-founder of Haldi Vita, a Haldi-based beverage consumer company. Welcome, Sameer ji. Thank you so much for joining us, both of you. And before I speak a little bit about yourself, I would rather have you introduce yourself. What were your early inspirations to start a company, and what is your brand all about, right? So we'll start with Sameer. Over to you. Sameer ji, you'll have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, thank you, Aarohana. Very quick introduction about myself. Basically, I'm a chartered accountant, a finance person. So this was never my line, and I've always been working in IT companies. So FMCG was a totally different animal for me. But what had happened was when I came back to India after staying abroad for several years, I was highly diabetic, and that was the time I was introduced to this very, very special haldi. And this kind of reversed my diabetes, and I managed to lose about 24 kgs of weight also. So after that, I became serious about the product, and we introduced it in the market. By God's grace, we got into IIM Kashipur incubation program. We got into this IIM Udaipur incubation program and NIFTEM. And plus, we got a lot of support from a couple of companies in UK and in USA. So after that, like we created this brand Haldi Vita. It was a learning. It was a journey where we had to learn quite a bit, and that's why I'm eager to share it with you guys. Okay, from a person like a starter, I won't say like I was very experienced. I was a starter myself, despite the fact I'd been working in corporate for 35 years. Little bit of management idea I had, but as a product, as a market, as an innovation, it was totally different for me. That's it. I remember.
Definitely excited to hear more about this journey and the transformation that it has created. Kudos to that. But before that, Aditi, a little bit about yourself and your company, please.
Yeah, I thank you so much, first of all, Arunima and Nice ORG. And it has been really, really supportive of you and the organization to Blue Pine Foods always since last 2 years that I've come across to know Sanjay Anandaram sir and Nice ORG. And such a privilege to be amongst, together with Sameer sir and to know more about Haldi Vita and very, very inspirational work. And definitely we'll be trying it soon. About myself, my name is Aditi Bhutia Madan, and I come from the Himalayas, married to a Punjabi from Rohtak, and cross-cultural, ties and families. So has given me a lot of learnings as well. So we registered and started Blue Pine Foods in May 2016 and launched our brand, which is known as Yankees by Momo Mami in 2018, right, in Delhi NCR. So the cause for this launch was like maybe about 18, 20 years back, which I always keep saying to everyone, how the seed was sowed within me at that point of time. There was no digitalization or not so convenience or convenient things around us. So we were struggling on our own, but at that point of time, I was longing for Himalayan food, soul nourishing food, authentic, hygienic, quality food at affordable prices. That was the main thought that me and my husband both had. So that's how I used to crave for even dumplings and soup noodles and many, many other things. So why not start and, bring something that to change the way India eats was a thought. So post MasterChef in 2013, the whole life pivoted towards the food industry, and that's how I have been presently in the food and beverage sector. Got to learn and know so much during the MasterChef journey itself, and innovate and how to innovate, how we can do new things and new technologies and all as well. And yes, then the journey has started since 2013, I would say. Yes, but there was a longing, very long, and now finally, we are here and we are striving to go ahead nationally and internationally as well.
Wow, wonderful, Aditi. Thank you so much. So here, they're very interesting that I see that Aditi, you've been associated with the food sector in some way or the other, right? Be it master chef or otherwise. And for Samir, it was a jump from a corporate to a startup world that is also based on a very niche product like haldi. What were some of the factors that you considered before entering into the food business, right? What were the different assumptions that you made, or how did you understand the market? So we'll start with Aditi first and then go to Samir.
Yeah. So, so there was a challenge that okay, Himalayan foods that I loved and wanted to bring in, and I wanted to serve. At that point of time, we were in Jaipur, Rajasthan. Okay, and there was no availability of any Himalayan food over there. And but the also was the thing that thought was that locally available resources. Which is very easy. Not going even during MasterChef, I got to learn about a lot of technicalities of international cuisines as well, but I didn't want to strive for it. So why not bring our own Himalayan cuisine to the world, right, in the right manner, in the right way, and with locally available resources. So the main purpose was also one very strong reason was about reducing agro produce wastage and decay. So we, Blue Pine Foods, are promoting and supporting in reducing agro-produce wastage and decay by converting it into a product. And we use wide range of agro produce, right? And after converting the product, we have given a shelf life where we don't use preservatives, and it's natural and it's authentic, and also like very, very, very fresh, right? So when you steam and when you even fry, it's very fresh. So that's how like we started. And yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's great to know. So Jaipur was one such area that, and I come from Jaipur, so I would know and relate to what you're saying. But did you realize this was a pan-India trend or something of that sort, which where the Himalayan food that you're talking about wasn't so well received or people weren't aware about it? And then how did you understand your market?
Yes. So the stigma around the product was that it is a junk food, it is a fast food, right? Because customers weren't aware that it is actually a staple food of the Northeastern or the Southeast Asian cuisine, right? Dumplings, even in Europe and all European countries, it is known as pierogi and many, many other names, right? So that was one reason, and also the reason that to bring because that was the product where the first choice is steaming. The product where the first choice is steaming, and steamed is the best way to cook food, right? Steamed food is the best way and the healthiest way to prepare food. And the second option is frying. So market is majorly dominated by potato based products, right? And the only choice or option is only frying. You don't have any other choice. So this was also one of the key reasons while bringing it to the market. And also while when we started in Jaipur, Rajasthan, at that point of time, we understood that we were actually solving the problem of Horeca also. Horeca meaning hotel, restaurants, and cafes, because they had to keep skilled laborers and artisans, right? And they wanted to keep the menu they wanted to keep the recipe or the product in the menu, but they didn't have skilled labor, right? So we were solving problem of that. And similarly, we were also solving problem as a convenient food provider, right? Easy to cook, and also easy to digest, and steam food, and also accountability. So many things came into factor later on gradually, which we were also mostly unaware as entrepreneurs when we were starting with the startup, right?
Wonderful, wonderful. And I'll move to Samir now to hear from what was his experience from a corporate to a startup life. And did you always figure out where you had to go to in terms of your market, who your customer would be? So, Samir, over to you. Please unmute yourself.
When I came back to India, basically I was a consultant. I was consulting in the financial field, and also I was helping companies to establish businesses overseas. And we had a company in Dubai, and I've still got a company in UK. So I was working on that. That was the time I came across my co-founder, UK, and it struck me. He seemed to be a very, very grounded person, very young guy, very intelligent, I think absolutely brilliant, and he had a lot of ideas with which I could resonate. So when he belongs to Uttarakhand, he is Khanduri, so he comes from Uttarakhand, and his family stays in Dehradun, so he was stationed in Noida. And so we started, talking about this thing. The first thing what we did was we did a survey all over India. We went to different states. I myself also belong to Jaipur, like you do, Arunima. So
Wonderful.
I'm in my hometown is Jaipur. So first we went to Jaipur, we looked at Rajasthan, then we went to Jharkhand, we went to Rajasthan, Jharkhand, and then after that we went to Punjab also. And we tried to find out what is the ground realities in terms of production, in terms of cultivation. Initially, we thought I was quite inspired by, doing different kind of agriculture and producing, different kind of crops. So I was coming from that background, and we also wanted to do something in the field of horticulture. But when we actually explored the market, we found that it is a very, very competitive market because like there were a lot of people who were, and the general consumer not were, first of all, they were not aware of the quality. And the second, they were not ready to pay for the quality. That was a very, very big thing. I'm talking of masses. There's a very small segment which is ready to pay a higher price for quality. So the first thing what we did was we did a survey. We took a product, this haldi, whatever we were growing. Now let me tell you a little bit about this haldi. What happens is that this haldi takes 18 months to grow. The farmers, they want a quick turnaround. They generally produce haldi which takes about 7 to 8 months to grow so that they can commercialize on it. So very, very few farmers were keen to grow this Swarna haldi. This is called Swarna haldi. So first thing what we did was we aggregated the farmers. We aggregated about 100 farmers in Chamoli, and we told them, okay, this is a medicinal herb. This is not, a day-to-day consumption haldi. You grow it for us. You don't give us your entire field. You just give us 20% of your field or 30% of your field, and we'll keep on paying you periodically, maybe once a quarter, maybe once in 6 months, so that your cash flow problems get resolved. Normal haldi generally costs about 183 rupees or 150 rupees, somewhere around that. The cheapest would be like Salem would cost you about 125, 130 rupees. Here the production cost itself was coming to about 1500 rupees per kg. It had to undergo, and unfortunately this haldi cannot grow at any place which has got an altitude of 5000 feet and below. It has to grow, in Himalayan region or at a height. That's why Lakadong also, why it's high on curcumin, it's grown above a certain height. So we started that. Now, when we realized that selling haldi is going to be a tough composition and tough proposition, so we decided, okay, let's create products out of it. And that was the time when we thought of this turmeric latte, which I consume. Turmeric latte is this particular haldi, which haldi is not bioavailable. Curcumin is not bioavailable. You got to add 14 other ingredients along with haldi to make it bioavailable, and these ingredients have to be of a particular quality in a certain proportion. We created the product, sent it to 7 different cities, hired a market research agency, and then on all age groups, on different sex, on different income groups, different demographies, we did a kind of a test run. And we were encouraged by the results. But normally, from my experience, if 80% of the people, they say, okay, look, it's a good product, we'll buy it. Be rest assured only 25 will buy, 25%. Okay, that's normally, the trend. Take any business for whatsoever. I must have gone through at least about 40, 50 of these market researches in my, corporate experience. So we said, fine. So we created that product. We launched it in the market. The first thing which we had to do, because it was FMCG, we had to be very particular about the branding bit. So the person, I wanted a mentor who could guide us on how to brand it properly and how to create a recognizable brand. So we came across a person. He is the global marketing director of R&B, Reckitt and Benckiser. Okay, and based out of London, Rakesh. So Rakesh very kindly agreed to be our mentor. And that was the time we actually started learning. And when we joined IIM Kashipur, actually we started learning the F of FMCG. Because otherwise we were not aware how this market works, what is the kind of dealership, what is the kind of distribution which happens in the market, what kind of margins should we offer, what kind of margins should we keep, how's the pricing to be done. So we started getting a kind of an idea about all these things. But yeah, experience definitely helps. The more deeper you get into it, the more you learn about the business. That was the first stage. The second stage was turmeric latte in India. Very few people are aware, like what Aditi also mentioned. I think her statements were absolutely brilliant. I can relate it to myself also in my business in lot many things. So the first thing I realized was that this was an educative market. Educative marketing has to be done because people have to be told about this haldi, about turmeric latte, about the consumption. Though everybody talks of haldi doodh, but very few people understand how real haldi doodh is made. To give you a small example, our dadis, if you remember, they used to make haldi doodh, but they used to give a chunk of this ghee. Now people say, no, no, ghee is going to make us fat. We are not going to have ghee. Now they don't realize if the ghee is not there, curcumin is not going to dissolve in milk. It is dissolvable only in fat. So a little bit of ghee is absolutely essential to make it effective on the body. Just by mixing haldi in a glass of milk has going to have no impact on you, hardly 10% impact. So this was the kind of education which had to go in the market. So I said, instead of making it a push product, the brand recognition will happen if we create some pull products. So that's how we came into herbal tea, and we came out with herbal cookies, ashwagandha cookies, giloy cookies, brahmi cookies. Because people understand, people realize what are herbal cookies, people know what is herbal tea. So that kind of created a pull, and with that pull, we started selling more of Haldivita turmeric latte also. Now it's been a journey of 2.5 years. Of course, this COVID battered us down very badly. We lost a lot of money during COVID, because our products were ready. We could not ship them out. They got, obsolete. We had to throw them away. They kind of expired. So we did a lot of things, but during that, COVID also, what we did was we started distributing it free to hospitals so that the brand awareness gets created. We gave it away to, people who would like to consume it. We incurred all those costs. So, I mean, we used that money. Though, of course, it was a sheer loss for us, but we used that money to at least create a brand out of Haldi Vita. And today, we are in 16 countries in at least about 2,500 counters in India, and it's growing.
Great, great, great. Wonderful, Sameer. Thank you so much for explaining elaborately not just about the company, but also about the kind of curcumin or haldi that is being used. Uh, and also taking us back to our Dadi ke nuske here. So yes, thank you so much. And I'll come back to a few questions. But one thing that intrigues me particularly is that both of you are focusing on a very regional speciality, right? That and both of you have Himalayan origins to that. So how do you actually brand and communicate such a niche product to a pan-Indian and in your case, a global audience as well, right? You said it's an educative market. What do you do to educate the people, right? Just offering products is one thing, but how do you communicate about your brand?
See, one is the first thing what I did was I mean started participating in seminars, in medical seminars. I went to these, doctors. I told them okay, these are the kind of stuff what we are making, and this is what is going to help. The second thing is it has to be research based. Okay, so we tied up with this institute, CIAB Institute in Mohali, and this Pharma Institute in Muga. We tied up with them. They did research on our product. They did animal testing. They did human trials. So I had those reports. I had those details. So when I visited somebody, I could produce those reports in front of them, which gave authenticity to the product. I got them lab tested. So testing and background becomes very, very essential, though you have to spend a lot and lot of money for such things. But yeah, I mean, that was a preliminary requirement which we had to undertake. And the other thing was I mean, on YouTube, we gave a couple of, talk shows. We also collaborated with some of these celebrities. Like you take, for example, Vivek Agnihotri, we had been working with him for the last 2 years, 3 years, 2.5 years. Now, it didn't happen after Kashmir Files that he has become very famous. But he has got this foundation, charitable foundation, I Am Buddha. Okay, so we did a lot of work with I Am Buddha, and that also created a kind of recognition. So people came forward and started asking us. So it's a long journey. I'll say still we have reached only 20%, 25%. In medical, we are trying to promote it much more. and things have to go on. But yeah, we have deviated a little bit from health food also to fresh ingredient food, to healthy food. It's not health food, but healthy food. Healthy food is like without preservatives, without, I mean, producing stuff with the absolutely unadulterated, ingredients. So we have deviated a little bit into that.
Wow,
So that's
wonderful.
been my journey.
That's great. So I think here I would say collaborations are very important. And you said about research. So based on what is the product that you're offering, and as you said, that the medical importance of haldi is being equally recognized. So identifying who your customer is and where do you want to market it, right? That's important. And Aditi, what about Yankees, Momos, and other stuff that you have? How did you go about branding it as an Himalayan specialty?
Yeah, so we have been very slow in branding and marketing because we majorly being into B2B sector, right? So we started as a B2B business, so B2B being business to business, giving convenience to the HoReCa, hotel, restaurant, and cafes. So that's why we didn't have to do so much of marketing, and because also the process is a very long process that we hold, like we source the ingredients, right? And also we process into a product and then package and then deliver. So there's a long process involved as well. So word of mouth was the marketing for us to the customers itself, how other customers came into us. And during all these years, like you can see that in social media, we didn't have to market much. But for yes, Yankees later on, like with the aggregators, Swiggy, Zomato being onboarded, so they are one channel as they are already in the top, like number one, right, aggregators. So a very few limited kind of like marketing goes through Swiggy, Zomato. Rest now we have started gradually, a small, not exactly for Blue Pine, I wouldn't say marketing, but yes, about informative, post and about information. But what is Blue Pine and why Blue Pine Foods? What is the reason behind Blue Pine Foods logo? What is the meaning of the yak and the shepherd dog and blue pine, the tall pine trees and mountains? So we have started just recently, and now definitely we'll be giving out full, branding, the story behind why it originated, how it started, and going on. Marketing, I think it's not needed. I would say much at the very moment, but for Yankees, yes. Uh, Yankees as well, we have a very good customer, customer acquisition, like customers are they are repetitive customers, and it's all word of mouth. So yes, thoda bahut marketing is required definitely to be present, but yes, we have very good, loyal and supportive customers that were there through us throughout all these years, and also during the COVID as well. So COVID also, though we lost so many lives and so many things happened, right, all over the world, but it was like a blessing during the COVID as well, because we got to understand so many aspects of other, entrepreneurship and the business, and also get incubated under NSR Salam Bangalore. So that was a major turning point for me as an individual, because I also had to grow accordingly, right, to the market, to how the business is developing, and also the business as well. So for both of the organization and myself also, it was a boon. And yes, so and I'm so much surprised, and it's such a beautiful coincidence that both of you are from Jaipur. And Jaipur, I would like to bring in between, like Jaipur, Rajasthan has been a very very positive city and positive place for me. The day since the day I've stepped after my marriage over there and lived over there, yes, and from there only everything changed. The majorly changed, bringing a lot of beautiful memories and connecting all the dots towards the food journey.
Wow, wow. Thank you so much, Aditi. And I'm going to come back to a few things that both you and Sameer have mentioned here. But before that, I want to ask you, Aditi, particularly that, you're serving to multiple clients, right? In the B2B space, and you also have a few cloud kitchens that you work with. How do you ensure a consistent, healthy Momo experience, across your country, the country, across the places that you're present?
Yes. So yeah, so we have both machine made and handcrafted. So our USP is handcrafted momos, right? We have more than 35 brands, and we have spring rolls also. And what we focus is upon handcrafted ones deliberately, because one major reason being that it generates employment opportunity for the underprivileged, because we need artisans for the final crafting. Though the other processes are all done automated, but the end crafting is handcrafted. So each product has a different shape, right? And it's beautiful. Like each product has a different beautiful shape, and it's artisanal. So that's how we process the ingredients and the product, and the consistency is the recipe and the SOPs, the standardization that has been over the years. So we started like I started in Jaipur, Rajasthan with the trial in Mahadev Nagar, Jaipur, Rajasthan, and before 2000 like 14 15 2013 14 15 I would say, and in 16 we registered, right, the company, and we knew that this would be a very good opportunity and a very good convenient food that can go across India and to all the customers as well. So standardization and the recipe, a lot of trials, and the feedback, majorly the feedbacks, for continuous feedbacks from the customers, the B2B customers, and also the B2C customers from Yankees, gave us an immense opportunity to inventing and recurating the product and coming to a very where a recipe where the masses need, right? So Blue Pine Foods and Yankees is not about so much of fusion as well at the same point of time, remaining as authentic as Himalayan too. So
Right.
customers' feedback has been very, very, supportive uh, channel as well, right?
Well, that's wonderful. So, what's your customer feedback cycle like? How do you take the feedback? How much time does it take to incorporate that? Uh, then show it reflected in your products. What's the entire cycle of receiving the feedback to actually reflecting it in the product? If you can break that down for us.
Yes. Now the recipes are almost it's standard now. The recipes are almost like we could say it's freezed, right, for the existing, the classic ones, right, the classic momos. So because it has been over the years, like more than 5 years that we have been receiving the feedback, right? And the new products, like how Yankees serves as a prepared food, so there we whatever feedback, suppose if we get, so the feedback doesn't now come for the ingredients and the quality of the product, but the preparation ones for Yankees. So like sometimes it's a little bit overdone, or sometimes it's less done, or sometimes there's something missing. So that kind of feedback come, which is a general one, where we incorporate it at the same time, and we try to fix it at the same point in time. But for Blue Pine, the feedbacks are very, very rare now, unless and until there is customization of some special brands. So there are like brands who customize products as well from us, right? So for them, there are a lot of first trial, second trial, third trial, and then their feedback keep incorporating until we come to a conclusion. It is the product that they want. So those
Right.
products are completely different. The customization ones are.
Right, right, right. That is wonderful. And it's certainly a long-term, long-run process, but it's glad that customer feedback is so important to the product and it's been very good. Samir, to you, I would like to ask, you said that you're present in 18 countries, right? Apart from India as well. Uh, when you were taking Haldi Vita globally, what were some of the factors that you kept in mind? How was your business plan and value proposition different from an Indian audience to a global market?
The global market was not very difficult for me because I'd stayed abroad for about 15 years. So I
Right,
had the connections and they're all over the world now. I mean, I was staying in Oman and people have migrated from Oman to different countries. So I had my connect, so it was not a very major problem in talking to these guys and they could connect me to the right. They were networked very heavily and they could connect me to the right people. So, but yes, I mean, selling it in any country which is apart from India, I mean, you have to have a very different kind of an approach. So, what kind of branding needs to be done? What kind of collaterals have to be prepared? What kind of mails have to be sent? All those things had to be considered. And some people wanted a different kind of label. But in food industry, the biggest problem what happens is that every country has got its own regulations. So suppose I have to send it to US, then do I need to be FDA registered? Is my product, kind of acceptable there or not? It has got haldi in it. Are there any special, kind of requirements for haldi? Like UK has got some special requirements. Okay, Singapore doesn't have any special requirement. So every country had its own nuance. So we had to look at those nuances and take it forward. So that is the reason why we came out with multiple products, because we wanted a foot in the door. So in some cases, like you take for example cookies. Cookies, all you need to do is you just got to give a lab report along with the cookies what you are exporting. So it's perfectly fine. So we could do that. So brand recognition, and then over a period of time, we kind of got the certifications done for a couple of countries, and from those countries, like I mean, we could distribute it to other countries. That's
Right,
how the
right.
whole thing happened.
Right. So I think that's a very important point that you've brought up, right? To all our entrepreneurs also who plan to take their products global, do your research, do your necessary certifications. Uh, all of those things are important. I'm sure that must be a time-consuming process as well. So, note to the entrepreneurs. In this journey so far, Samir, what are some of your major lessons that you've learned, right? Operating in the food sector is not an easy thing, I can surely understand. But what are your lessons and how have what would be your advice to the entrepreneurs who are trying to enter this space?
I think India itself is a very big market. I mean, first we should test out the product in a particular market, and India is very easy to enter. And we should test out the product, and we should seek like whatever changes are required. Aditi has put it brilliantly, and she's a celebrity in her own right. I mean, being a part of the Master Chef and all. So, I mean, the point coming from her was very, very valuable. Like, I mean, you have to perfect the product. You have to, like, take for example our cookies. Initially, when we were shipping the cookies, they were breaking. Okay, so when the customer used to receive, I mean, we used to get a lot of galis saying, like, I mean, it's all coming like, in a powdered form. So we had to change the packaging, we had to work on that, we had to innovate on that. So first you perfect the product. And once you have perfected it, then you think of, expanding the market. So localize it, expand the market, and then start looking at foreign markets for food industry, I'm talking. Like cloth and all is totally different, but cloth also there is certain regulations even for skincare. Like I've got another company which is into skincare. There also there are a lot of regulations. I mean, you have to get a lot of certifications before you can actually enter Europe market or US market. Like cloth industry, I mean, it should be fire safe, in certain countries, because otherwise you cannot export. It cannot be a nylon. So I mean, one has to know the kind of and for that the best thing to do is get to the right mentors or to the right consultants.
Right, right, right. So I'm going to
Yeah.
come back on that. But Aditi, what have been your lessons, your some of the challenges that you faced being in this sector, right? And then how did you address them?
Yeah. So, Arunima, like being in the food sector itself is a very, very, huge challenge, first of all. And food sector, you never know what is going to happen the very next moment. It can be all hearty and, beautiful. But food sector definitely teaches us so much, and also it gives you so much of perseverance and learnings as well, and it is every day anew. It is every day anew. So it is very, very interesting and very, very inspirational as well. And we get to learn so many things. There are many, like every day I say that it's a challenge because we never know what's going to happen. But some of the major challenges that I would say was like definitely the, when uh, maybe I should speak about it before, like when the demonetization happened, and after that, when GST rules were changed, right? And also during the COVID post pandemic period, how the challenges have been. But at that point of time also, we learned to how to survive and sail through. We had to incorporate different technicalities, how to switch on, switch the mode, change the mode from being a QSR to cloud kitchen mode, and how to ensure that the deliveries happen even when accessibility or we could not travel. We how to get the passes and how to travel and across and deliver the raw material so that the kitchen keeps operating. So also to ensure that the employees are safe and their hygiene, and tested, and they're very healthy, and at the same point of time we were providing fooding and lodging. So that's how we ensure that everything sails smoothly. And definitely there has been number of numerous challenges, which maybe I would like to speak later through some long sessions. But but these challenges are very, very good, which I believe, because it makes us, more, emerges us to be more stronger, more confident. So we know now, like how the immense, like being so entrepreneur's life is like handling from like it is like handling a kuda wala or the garbage man till the CEO of a company, right? You have to interact with all segments and sorts of personalities. So, and it is very, very interesting and very beautiful. So the challenges I always appreciate, as Aditi Manan, I always appreciate it and take it as very positive, even though it is huge and mammoth task, because it's a beautiful task to solve those problems and challenges. Yeah, so for me it is quite different. Like for others, sometimes like some of them, like they feel that, oh, there is this big problem, know what to do, how to handle, there has been a problem and all. But these challenges makes us and emerges us to be more confident and stronger, is what I believe, right?
Right, right. Absolutely. No, that's a wonderful insight. And I think that's what an entrepreneur's life is, right? What fun without challenges. And the other is, of course, that innovation is the key. You have to always be on the go, be
Yes,
prepared for what is going to come, and innovate, explore, and then take the market head on. Wonderful.
yes.
So
So
we have a few, yeah, you have to add something, Aditi, go ahead.
yeah, so being present is very, very important in an entrepreneur's life. Being present in the current situation and going with the flow is very important, right? So then there is a balance between example, work and family, also work and yourself as well, like one's emotional, mental well-being as well, right? Otherwise, it's very, very difficult to handle those situations, those challenges.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thanks for laying that down and actually talking about the importance that one needs to give to health and personal well-being as well. That's really important. So we're going to take a few questions now. We have one from Bindu, and this is for you, Aditi. How easy or difficult was it to sell to cloud kitchens?
How easy or difficult was it to sell to Cloud Kitchen, like to Horeca, she means, or
I
like,
think she means Eureka only. Yes, yes.
okay, okay. It was touched wood, God was very like kind, and the customers so we didn't have to struggle so much to in finding the customers, right? So yes, there were some trials where we went and took samples and used to go to different markets and shops and introduce them the product and ask them to keep the product. We'll give them the steamer for free, electric steamer and players. Then they need to only have deep freezer and all. But some of the customers were very supportive and kind, that even though they were taking the products from us, they used to tell other customers that how they have been getting product from Blue Pine Foods. That's through word of mouth we were easily getting a lot of other customers as well. And we were also, Lupine Foods has been very selective in giving the products to each and every customer. We just don't give it out to anyone, that who wouldn't be able to handle the product, right? Who wouldn't be able to know, know the product as well, and also they have a staff. So we go through certain parameters and like our own internal protocols, that whom to give the products and not. to give. So it's not like whoever comes, so we give out the product to the customers, right? So it's all through word of mouth, and it was initially it was a little bit difficult, but from the very start, it has been very, very supportive from the customers that we have in the Horeca sector.
Right. Wonderful. Bindu, I hope that answers your question. We have a question from SS Nayak for Samir. How did you create brand awareness with limited budget?
See, creating brand awareness is a very tough task, and you have to use multiple channels. I mean, a couple of channels. What I can explain it to you was, of course, like the social media platforms. That goes without saying. So everybody is using social media platform. You got to promote it. You got to talk about it, and you got to make it interesting so that people generally, kind of come to your page and have a look at it and like your page. That's one, of course. The second is we did multiple promotions, at different shops at the counters. So that was another way of creating brand awareness. Like I said, initially you have to do it in a very localized manner because if you try to expand too much, the expenditure is very high and you'll diffuse your brand because you might not be able to reach out to masses. So you take a smaller area. Like the other way, what we did was we did an experiment in Coimbatore. We just took one lane, and in that lane we branded it. We spent a little bit of money on that. Little bit in the sense it was about 2-3 lakh of rupees we spent on that. It was we got a couple of hoardings, 2 or 3 hoardings. We distributed, our pamphlets everywhere and looked at the societies. It was a residential area. We made sure that everybody gets a pamphlet in the residential area. We spoke to all the shops. There were nearly about 40 shops. So we spoke to all the shops and kept a product free. And the second thing in the pamphlet, we gave the address of the nearest shop, okay, which is available. So then we realized it did very well. I mean, people got inquisitive, they wanted to know. And then we had a call center number where they could call up and if they wanted to know anything about the product, how it works, why it works, what is so special about this product. So, I mean, there was a trained person back, in Delhi. So that person used to answer all the calls. So this is just one of the ways of promoting it. The third way of promoting could be like going to the media. Media is very, very expensive. So we did a lot of we didn't go directly to the media. We took an indirect approach. Like I said, we participated in conferences and talk shows and other places, and so that could get us like about 100 viewers, 200 viewers, 1,000 viewers. That happened. Then we also collaborated with a couple of celebrities. Like there is a person called Smith Sagar. He is a chef, and he's also a celebrity chef. He's got several awards. So he did a couple of recipes for us, which you can see on YouTube. He did the recipes with Haldi Vita. So that also gave us a lot of viewership. And not so much on YouTube, but a lot of inquiries came. And some people who posted it on their page, we got more viewership on that. So that's the way we did it. And then you got to yourself be active on Facebook. Like today only I posted one. I saw a recipe of a cookie which is without oil and which is without sugar. It's made of honey and a couple of other ingredients. I tried it at home yesterday. I myself love to bake. I mean, right from childhood, I've been a baker, and I bake breads and cakes and biscuits. So I tried it out. It came out very well. So you post it. So then what happens is like people start associating you with your products. Haldi Vita or cookies. So I mean, there's several ways. There's no hard and fast rule.
Right.
That's what I can say.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I think you've given a lot of insights into this, but then at the end of the day, I think entrepreneurs need to figure out what works best for them. But as Aditi said, be present, try out all the options that you have, be active. That is very important. And of course, engage with your customers in all possible ways. So we have a few more questions. Amaya asks, and this is for Samir as well. The continuation to what you said, that how did you find a space on the retail shelves? And are you focusing more on modern trade, general trade, or D2C currently? Amaya, I think your second question has been answered, but yeah, we'll take up the first question.
In my case, we are there in modern trade, we are there in counters, we are there online also, but online we have never focused much, so we don't do very well online. Now, of course, like we are getting into a partnership with Amazon. Okay, today only in the afternoon I had a call with them, and they have assigned one, relationship manager who is going to help us in developing it for Amazon. So we have the same Haldi Vita products. They will come out as Trailblazer brand name because we are incubated with Amazon. So they wanted a
Right.
different brand, so it will be the same product but with Trailblazer. So they're going to help us in creating a market for that.
Right.
So yeah, modern trade. We one thing what we took a policy decision. We are not going to give any listing fee to any platform. We are not giving any listing fee. So some of the people they came forward and they accepted it. Some refused. We said fine. Once you grow big, you yourself will come to us. I mean, we don't have to run around after you, you know. So, I mean, that's the approach you've got to take. At times, you have to take a hard stand. You have to
Yes.
take your decisions and then move accordingly.
Right. Wonderful. That's great to know. Uh, Another question is from Vijaya for both the panelists. As a founder, what were the strengths that you leveraged from your previous experience, which is pivotal for your successful journey? So, Aditi, we can have you go first.
Uh, so as a founder, pardon me?
So she's asking about your previous experiences that have been helpful in your current entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah. So being persistent, being able to convince my family, my husband. So being ziddi, that is what he says. So that is the most like the my previous experiences, like few characteristics I would say, which helped me now and helps me now also, because being consistent is the one aspect that needs throughout your life, right? We cannot quit, and we are being an entrepreneur, we cannot quit in the middle path, right? So besides that, my previous experiences, like being in the corporate office, corporate life, where I was always associated with food somehow or the other, because being in admin department, canteen was under me. So there were like more than 5,000 employees, and where there were Japanese expats also. So from there, I got to learn so much coming from the Himalayas. Got to learn at that point of time, 20 years back, about the steel grades, the food quality steel grades, 304 and all. And, so huge experience while handling the canteen department. So that has helped me immensely, and that has been like that now, like after so many years, I was able to realize that why I was always associated with food, because earlier I used to feel like, why am I like always associated with food, and somehow doing something related to events or management or handling different things, catering and so many things, right? But it eventually helped me now, and now I realize that everything was like connecting the dots, right? And so those experiences has been beautiful, and yeah, it has been amazing.
Wonderful, wonderful. Samir, what about you?
It's a very simple answer. Like, I mean, once you start on a journey, suppose you have to go to Jaipur only. Halfway, if the road is broken, you don't just turn back your car and come back. Okay, you have to find a way forward. So, like Aditya has very rightly said, like it's a journey. And let me tell any person who wants to start a business, it's not easy. I mean, as a job, I was very comfortable in a couple of positions, like, okay, because the risk was not mine. My risk was only if I lose my job, I can take up another job. Okay, but here the risk is very high. It's like kind of very digital. Either you do it, either you perform or you don't perform. So, I mean, you have to be a go-getter. And my previous jobs, like I'll say in India Today and in HCL, I mean, one thing which I learned was never no. My bosses never took no for an answer. So you had to find out a way out. In fact,
Right,
matlab, as a joke, we used to say, if suppose a customer comes and says, "Can you install the computers on Moon?" The first reaction of a sales guy, "Yes, sir, we can do it. No problem. We'll do it tomorrow." And then you start figuring out, what you need to do, whether you got to hire in Apollo or you got to hire, a Sputnik. How do you have to reach the moon? So I mean, that was a joke there. But yeah,
right,
that's the
right,
way. I mean, that's the approach one has to take. Very positive, and positive affirmation is very important in the morning. Okay,
Yes.
yeah, this is a problem. This is not a problem. It's a challenge which I'll overcome. So don't use words like problems, something. I mean, these negative words. Always
Yes.
a challenge. Yes, I can overcome it, and I
right.
have to move ahead. हम होंगे कामयाब types.
Wonderful. That's actually brilliantly put by both of you. We have one more question, Aditi, from somebody in Jaipur, from Devesh, who asks that where can he find your products in Jaipur? Are there outlets that are there right now? Uh,
Okay. Yeah. So in Jaipur, we are currently available through Swiggy Instamart as frozen, as in the frozen form. We have frozen momos. So yeah, QSR will be soon coming. We are right now focusing only in Delhi NCR. That's what I have been requesting all the customers from all over India and international to please wait for some time till we go ahead. As Samir sir very in the a while back he said that we should focus on a certain area and certain market, right? So that's what we've been trying to do, to be strategic and being focused. So we'll go there, definitely be there in Chandigarh, Jaipur, Mumbai, everywhere, but gradually, step by step. So through Swiggy Instamart, we are available at the moment.
Wonderful. So before we come to close to this session, I have one question that is, both of you have been incubated at IIMs, right, and other incubatory support. At what point in time did you realize that your venture needed an incubatory support, and how did you identify the right fit of a program for your brand? Uh, Samir, we'd have you go first.
Yeah. Right from day one, because I knew I don't know anything about FMCG, I don't know anything about, direct to customer market. I've always been though being a finance person, I've been a finance person in IT companies like HCL and all, and the CEO of IT companies. So, I mean, I always knew that like FMCG is a totally different animal. I don't understand this. So I need to learn. And then there's Professor Bamoria and I am Kashipur. Somebody had told me about him. Then I was very, very keen to make him my guru, and learn from him. And it worked. Because that was the time when I actually realized, yeah, what is knowledge? I picked up my school bag all over again, went and stayed there for about 1.5 months, did a 5 to 6 week program, and then came back all excited, yeah, I must do it. And possibly I was the oldest of the lot. Rest all the guys were about 30, 32, 33. But yeah, I was like a student and I had to follow all the rules, regulations, class timings. I never took liberty of my age. So that's the spirit with which you have to go, you have to learn and carry on.
Wow, wonderful. So there's no age for learning and relearning, and that's where you find your mentor, your guru also when you're seeking out, right? So Aditi, what about you?
Yeah, so before lockdown or COVID, I had tried for maybe that time Goldman Sachs under AM Bangalore, which runs the program. But some I didn't get the selection or something went like a miss maybe from my end. But then pandemic happened, right? And there was this women's startup program coming up 3.0. And so I applied for it. So earlier I used to, the thing is like, one has to be always curious, right? The curiosity should never die within an entrepreneur. So even being busy or with married or family or kids, one has to keep exploring and seeing new things. So that's how I was like aware of the I am Bangalore NSRCell, the BSP program came out and got selected amongst like there were more than 11,000 participants and came to like be pre-incubated and then incubated with 210 plus peers, right? Amazing peers. And it has been a beautiful journey for me because as I said earlier that pandemic has been a boon for me as an individual and for the enterprise also. I'll just conclude here how it happened because while being incubated at NSR Salam Bangalore, also how I realized that I have to have the business management knowledge also. The hard work I was doing, but there needs to be some smart work or a way to come out of the whirlpool, right? Like whirlpool meaning we might be going around, round and round and doing the same thing again and again. There might be some mistakes that we might be repeating again and again, and also to leverage, to grow as an individual, to so that the business also grows, the organization also grows, the stakeholders can grow. For that, I realized that I have some limitations and I need to learn and understand the business management policies, the methods, the tricks, how to scale it faster and how to scale it the right way, right? Because hard work everyone does, right? So we were doing all that. So I had the I had the desire to study and learn and unlearn so many things that I was doing, maybe right or not right, right? So for that, I had to be incubated or to be associated with such organizations like IIM Bangalore or any other larger organizations where I could benefit, and also they could understand and all handhold and support as well to us entrepreneurs like us who have not had high qualifications, right? Because I'm not an MBA or neither done any CAT exam or something. So it was a blessing, and from NSRCL, I focused fully into the incubation journey, and I was there, and then Shark Tank, even Shark Tank India, information was rolled out to NSRCell. Then I applied over there only, and that's how I became the opener of Shark Tank India season 1, right? So the whole process of 1.5 years has been a beautiful, beautiful one because of NSRCell. I'm Bangalore, and my lifelong gratitude and so my lifelong gratitude and my thankfulness will always be there, because from there what I've learned as an individual, it could not be replaced by any other thing, right? So I'm so much thankful to mentors, having come across everyone, like even Sanjananda Ramsa and everyone across the world, having been introduced to Philip Kotler sir and attending his sessions, and so many Sudha Murthy ma'am, and so many Malvika Harita ma'am, amazing professors and mentors, and supporting wholeheartedly to all the entrepreneurs, right? So it has been
Wonderful.
a journey.
That's so great to know from both Aditi and Samir. And with that, we would conclude the session. We've gone a little over time, but we have some more questions. We request the audience to email it to us at namaste@niceorg.in, and we'll share it with the speakers who can then answer us in writing that we can share later with you. I hope that's also okay with both of you, Samir and Aditi. Perfect. So
Yes,
with that, thank you so much, both of you. We've had a wonderful session and a conversation here. And to all our audiences also who could take out time to join us, thank you so much.
Thank you, Arunabha. Thank you for having us with you. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
thank you, Samir sir. Thank you, Arunima. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks. All right. Bye-bye.